The rain hammered against the metal walls of Outpost Echo 7 with the fury of 1,000 angry spirits. Maya-chan pressed her face against the observation window, watching the purple lightning dance across the alien sky of Kepler 442b. 3 years she had been stationed on this remote mining colony, 3 years of fixing broken equipment and dreaming of home. The communication array crackled to life behind her. Engineer-chan, we've got another malfunction in Sector 12. Something's been messing with the mining drones again. Maya sighed and grabbed her toolkit. On my way, Control. This was the 5th time this month that equipment had gone missing or been damaged in Sector 12. The colonial administration blamed it on the harsh weather conditions. But Maya suspected something else was at work. The damage patterns were too precise, too deliberate. She pulled on her environmental suit and stepped into the airlock. The storm outside was getting worse, and the wind nearly knocked her off her feet as she made her way to the damaged sector. The mining facility stretched across the rocky plateau like a metal spider, its legs reaching deep into the planet's crust to extract precious minerals that would fuel humanity's expansion across the galaxy. As Maya approached Sector 12, she noticed something odd. The security cameras that should have been monitoring the area were all facing away from the mining equipment. Someone or something had deliberately turned them. Her hand moved instinctively to the plasma pistol at her belt. The mining drone that had been reported missing lay in pieces near the entrance to the sector. But these weren't the clean breaks you'd expect from equipment failure or storm damage. The metal looked melted, twisted by intense heat. Maya knelt beside the wreckage and ran her scanner over the debris. Organic compounds, she muttered, reading the display.
Biothermal signatures.
A soft whimpering sound made her freeze. It was coming from inside the sector, from the deeper tunnels that led into the planet's core. Maya had been down those tunnels dozens of times during her maintenance rounds, but she had never heard anything like this before. The sound came again, louder this time. It was definitely organic, definitely alive, and definitely in pain. Against her better judgment, Maya activated her helmet's light and ventured into the tunnel. The walls were rough-hewn rock, carved by automated mining equipment over the past 5 years. Her footsteps echoed in the narrow space, mixing with the distant rumble of thunder from above. The tunnel opened into a natural cavern about 50 meters down. Maya's light swept across the space, revealing glittering mineral deposits and pools of collected rainwater. But in the far corner, huddled against the wall like a discarded piece of machinery, was something that made her heart skip a beat. It was a dragon, not the mythical creatures from Earth's fairy tales, but a real, living alien dragon. She was small, probably no larger than a horse, with scales that shifted between deep blue and silver in the beam of Maya's light. Her wings were folded tightly against her body, and one of them appeared to be injured. Burn marks scarred her left flank, and her breathing was labored. The dragon's eyes opened as Maya approached, revealing intelligence that was unmistakably sentient. They were the color of liquid gold, and they held a depth of sadness that hit Maya like a physical blow. "No one wants me?" the dragon whispered, her voice carrying directly into Maya's mind through some form of telepathic communication. "I am broken. I am alone." Maya's training kicked in. First rule of alien contact: assess the threat level. Second rule: establish communication. Third rule: report to command immediately. But looking at this injured, frightened creature, Maya found herself ignoring protocol entirely. "Hey there," she said softly, speaking aloud even though she suspected the dragon could hear her thoughts.
"I'm Maya."
"I'm not going to hurt you." The dragon's eyes widened with surprise. "You can hear me? I can hear you just fine. What's your name?" "I am called Lyralii among my people, but my people cast me out. I am defective." The dragon's mental voice carried bitter shame. "My fire burns too hot, too wild. I cannot control it. I destroy everything I try to help." Maya set down her toolkit and approached slowly, the way she might approach a wounded animal back on Earth. "Those burn marks on the mining equipment. That was you?" "I was hungry, cold. I thought the metal might provide shelter from the storms. But my fire, it melts everything. I cannot control it." Lyralii's great head drooped toward the ground. "I tried to be careful, but I am cursed." "You're not cursed," Maya said firmly. You're just young and untrained. Even human children need to learn to control their abilities. Human children do not breathe fire that can melt titanium alloy. Maya laughed, surprising herself. No, but human children do build nuclear reactors and design quantum computers. We all have to learn to control dangerous things. Lyralii raised her head, studying Maya with those golden eyes. Your people would not reject one of their own for being dangerous? My people have a saying, the most dangerous humans make the best engineers. We don't cast out our problems. We solve them. For the first time since Maya had discovered her, Lyralii's expression showed something other than despair. Hope flickered in her eyes like a candle flame. But I have nowhere to go, the dragon said. My clan flies the deep void between stars. They will not return for me. I am stranded here until I die. Maya made a decision that would change both their lives forever. Not if I have anything to say about it. Come on, let's get you back to my workshop. That wing looks like it needs medical attention, and you look like you could use a hot meal. You would help me? Even though I am dangerous. Especially because you're dangerous. Dangerous things are usually the most useful, once you figure out how to aim them properly. Lyralii struggled to her feet, favoring her injured wing. I do not understand humans. Most humans don't understand humans either. That's what makes us interesting. As they made their way back through the tunnel, Maya's mind was racing. She couldn't take a dragon back to the main colony without causing a panic. But her private workshop in the maintenance sector was isolated enough that they might have some time to figure things out. Maya, Lyralii said as they emerged from the tunnel into the storm. Why are you helping me? Maya paused in the howling wind, looking back at the young dragon. Because everyone deserves a second chance. And because I have a feeling that your curse might be exactly what humanity needs out here on the frontier. What do you mean? I mean that controlled fire is the most useful tool in the universe. And I'm one hell of an engineer. As they made their way across the storm-lashed facility toward Maya's workshop, neither of them realized that their meeting would spark a revolution in human-dragon relations that would echo across the galaxy. But that was a story for another day. Tonight, Maya-chan had a dragon to heal and a friendship to build. The workshop's automated systems detected their approach and opened the reinforced doors with a soft hiss. Inside, the space was warm and dry, filled with half-assembled machines and diagnostic equipment. Maya had spent countless hours here, tinkering with new designs and solving the endless mechanical problems that plagued frontier colonies. Make yourself comfortable, Maya said, gesturing to a cleared area near her workbench. Let me get some medical supplies and see what we can do about that wing. Lyralii settled carefully onto the workshop floor, her scales creating a soft chiming sound as they brushed against the metal. Your den is strange but pleasant. It smells of creation rather than destruction. That's the idea. Now hold still while I scan that injury. As Maya ran her medical scanner over Lyralii's damaged wing, she marveled at the complexity of the dragon's physiology. The wing structure was unlike anything in human databases, but the injury itself was straightforward enough. Torn membranes, strained muscles, and some minor burns that would heal with proper care. Good news, Maya announced. Nothing that can't be fixed with time and proper treatment. Bad news is you'll be grounded for at least a few weeks. I do not mind, Lyralii replied. I have nowhere to fly to anyway. Maya began applying medical patches to the worst of the tears, working with the gentle precision that had made her one of the colony's best engineers. Tell me about your people. What are dragons like? We are ancient, proud. We fly between the stars as easily as your ships, but we need no machines. Our fire can cut through asteroids or warm a planet's atmosphere. We are powerful. But power without control is meaningless. My fire is too wild, too chaotic. In my clan's great works, I can only destroy. They tried to teach me, but I failed every lesson. Finally, they declared me hopeless and left me on this world to find my own path to extinction. Maya finished applying the medical patches and sat back on her heels. That's their loss and humanity's gain. We specialize in taking wild forces and making them useful. You truly believe you can help me? I don't just believe it. I know it. But it's going to take work from both of us. Outside, the storm continued to rage. But inside Maya's workshop, A partnership was being born that would reshape the balance of power in their corner of the galaxy. Neither engineer nor dragon knew it yet, but their meeting was the first step in a journey that would take them far beyond the bounds of Kepler 442b and into legend itself. 3 days had passed since Maya discovered Lyralii in the mining tunnels, and the young dragon was already showing signs of recovery. Her wing membranes were healing faster than any Earth creature could manage, and her appetite had returned with impressive force. Maya had been smuggling food concentrates and protein bars from the colony supplies, claiming equipment testing required extra rations. The morning diagnostic shows significant improvement, Maya announced, reviewing the medical scanner results. Your wing should be flight-ready within the week. Lyralii stretched the injured wing experimentally, wincing only slightly as the healing membranes pulled taut. Your medicine is remarkably effective. Dragon healing is typically much slower. That's because we designed our medical systems for humans, and humans are notoriously fragile. We had to get very good at fixing things quickly. Maya set down the scanner and picked up a modified welding torch from her workbench. Speaking of fixing things, I think it's time we started working on your real problem. My fire control? Exactly. I've been studying the energy patterns from your flames, and I think I understand what's happening. Maya activated a holographic display that showed a complex three-dimensional model of energy flows. The patterns looked chaotic at first glance, but Maya had spent years learning to see order in seemingly random systems. Look here. She pointed to a series of fluctuating nodes in the display. Your fire generation isn't actually uncontrolled. It's following a very precise pattern, but it's a pattern designed for an adult dragon with fully developed neural pathways. Lyralii studied the hologram with intense concentration. I do not understand. It's like trying to use industrial machinery with household wiring. The power is there, but the delivery system can't handle the load. Your instincts are telling you to generate fire at adult intensity levels, but your young nervous system can't regulate that much energy. So I am indeed defective? Not defective. Just using the wrong software for your hardware. Maya grinned. Lucky for you, humans are experts at writing new software. Maya pulled up another holographic display, this one showing a simplified version of the energy patterns. What if we could teach your nervous system to run a modified version of the adult fire control protocols? Something designed specifically for your current developmental stage. You believe such a thing is possible? I believe anything is possible with the right engineering approach. The question is whether you're willing to trust a human to tinker with dragon instincts that are millions of years old. Lyralii was quiet for a long moment, her golden eyes reflecting the shifting lights of the holographic displays. When she finally spoke, her mental voice was steady with determination. My people have already cast me out. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you are willing to try, then so am I. Maya felt a surge of excitement that reminded her why she had become an engineer in the first place. This was the kind of problem that made her come alive, the intersection of the impossible and the essential. All right then, let's start with basic biometric feedback training. I'm going to rig up some sensors that will help you visualize what's happening with your energy patterns in real time. Over the next several hours, Maya worked to adapt human biofeedback equipment to dragon physiology. It was challenging work that required creativity and improvisation, but those were skills that any frontier engineer developed quickly or didn't survive long. The sensors were finally ready as Kepler 442b's twin suns began to set, painting the workshop in shades of amber and gold. Maya had created a harness that would monitor Lyralii's neural activity, body temperature, and bioelectric field fluctuations. This might feel strange at first, Maya warned as she helped Lyralii into the sensor array. The equipment isn't designed for your species, so there might be some interference. I trust you, Lyralii replied simply. Those 3 words hit Maya harder than she had expected. When was the last time anyone had placed such complete faith in her abilities? Her fellow colonists respected her work, but this was different. This was personal. Okay, let's start with something simple. Try to generate just a small flame, maybe enough to light a candle. Lyralii nodded and took a deep breath. Maya watched the biometric displays as the dragon's neural activity spiked, energy coursing through pathways that had no human equivalent. The air in front of Lyralii began to shimmer with heat. Easy, Maya said, monitoring the readings. Your energy output is already at torch levels. Try to dial it back. Lyraliai's concentration intensified, but instead of decreasing, the energy readings climbed higher. The air shimmered more violently, and Maya could feel the temperature in the room beginning to rise. I cannot control it, Lyraliai said through gritted teeth. It builds too quickly. Don't fight it, Maya said suddenly, an inspiration striking her. Redirect it. Instead of trying to stop the energy, channel it somewhere else. Where? Maya grabbed a chunk of scrap metal from her workbench and tossed it to a safe distance. There. Pour all that energy into melting that steel. Lyraliai turned toward the metal and released her flame. Instead of the chaotic burst Maya had expected, a concentrated beam of superheated plasma shot from the dragon's mouth and struck the steel with surgical precision. The metal didn't just melt. It vaporized completely, leaving only a small scorch mark on the workshop floor. Incredible, Maya breathed, staring at the readings on her displays. Lyraliai, do you realize what you just did? I destroyed another piece of your equipment? You generated a plasma beam with enough focused energy to cut through a starship hull. That wasn't wildfire, that was precision engineering. Lyraliai blinked in surprise. But it felt the same as always. Because the energy output was the same. We just gave it proper direction. Maya was already pulling up new calculations on her computer. Your clan was wrong about you being defective. You're not a broken adult dragon. You're something entirely new. What do you mean? Adult dragons probably generate sustained flames for large-scale work, right? Atmospheric processing, asteroid mining, that kind of thing. But you're generating concentrated plasma bursts. That's not a flaw in the design. That's an evolution of it. Maya began pacing the workshop, her mind racing with possibilities. Think about it. Your people work in space where sustained flames would be inefficient anyway. But precision plasma bursts? Those could be incredibly useful for detailed work, surgical strikes, even microconstruction projects. You truly believe I am not defective? I think your clan made the mistake that engineers make all the time. They tried to force new technology to work exactly like old technology, instead of recognizing that evolution had given them an upgrade. Lyraliai's scales seemed to brighten, shifting toward the blue end of the spectrum. Maya was beginning to recognize this as a sign of emotional contentment in dragons. If this is true, then perhaps I am not destined to die alone on this world. Not if I can help it. But first, we need to develop proper control techniques for your abilities. And I think I know where to start. Maya pulled up the colony's industrial database and began scrolling through precision manufacturing protocols. We're going to treat your plasma generation like any other high-energy tool. Safety protocols, precision targeting, graduated power settings. By the time we're done, you'll have better control than any adult dragon in the galaxy. And you will teach me this? I'll teach you everything I know about energy management and precision engineering. In return, maybe you can teach me a few things about your people and their technology. That seems like an unequal trade. My knowledge is limited. Trust me, any engineer who can figure out how to help a dragon control plasma fire is going to want to know everything about dragon technology. Your people navigate interstellar space without ships, right? Yes, we ride the solar winds and manipulate gravitational fields through bioelectric resonance. Maya nearly dropped her tablet. You can manipulate gravity? Biologically. Of course. How else would we achieve faster than light travel? How else indeed? Maya muttered, her mind reeling with the implications. Dragons possessed the two technologies that humanity desperately needed for true galactic expansion: practical FTL travel and precision energy weapons. And she had befriended one who was eager to learn human engineering principles. Lyraliai, I think this partnership is going to be even more beneficial than I originally thought. Partnership? Well, what would you call it? You're learning human engineering, I'm learning dragon biotechnology. We're solving problems together. That sounds like a partnership to me. I have never had a partnership before. My people do not typically collaborate in this way. Then your people are missing out. Humans figured out a long time ago that two minds working together can solve problems that neither could handle alone. Lyraliai settled more comfortably on the workshop floor, her injured wing tucked carefully against her side. I would like to learn about human partnerships. If you are willing to teach me, I'd be honored to. But first, let's work on getting you flight ready. I have a feeling we're going to need mobility for what comes next. What comes next? Maya grinned, the expression of an engineer who had just realized the scope of the project she was undertaking. Next, we're going to revolutionize both human and dragon technology. But we're going to have to do it quietly, at least at first. Why quietly? Because not everyone is going to be thrilled about a human-dragon collaboration. Some people fear change, especially change that challenges their understanding of how the universe works. Will your people reject you for helping me, as my people rejected me? Some might try, but humans have a saying, it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. By the time anyone realizes what we're doing, we'll have results that speak for themselves. As the twin sons of Kepler 442b finally set completely, casting the workshop into darkness except for the soft glow of the equipment displays, Maya and Lyralii continued their planning. Neither of them knew that their conversation was being monitored by the colony's security systems, or that their partnership was about to face its first serious test. Maya woke to the insistent beeping of her emergency communicator. The workshop was still dark, illuminated only by the soft blue glow of Lyralii's scales, as the dragon slept peacefully near the main workbench. It had been a week since their first training session, and Lyralii's control had improved dramatically. Engineer Chun, report to the administrator's office immediately, came the crisp voice of Colonial Security Chief Harrison. Maya's heart sank. She had hoped to have more time before anyone discovered Lyralii's presence. On my way, Chief. Lyralii stirred as Maya began pulling on her uniform. Trouble? Maybe. Probably. Stay here and keep quiet until I get back. If anyone comes looking, hide in the storage compartment behind the fusion reactor components. Will you be safe? The concern in Lyralii's mental voice touched Maya more deeply than she wanted to admit. I'll be fine. Humans are good at talking their way out of problems. The walk to Administrator Walsh's office felt like the longest journey of Maya's life. The corridor was lined with security personnel, their weapons conspicuously visible. Not a good sign. Administrator Walsh was a thin, nervous man who had been promoted beyond his competence level but tried to make up for it with strict adherence to regulations. He looked even more agitated than usual as Maya entered his office. Sit down, Engineer Chun, he said without preamble. We need to discuss some irregularities in your recent activity reports. What kind of irregularities? Chief Harrison stepped forward, consulting a tablet. Unauthorized access to medical supplies. Excessive food requisitions for equipment testing. Extended periods in Sector 12 without proper documentation. And unusual energy readings from your workshop. Maya forced herself to remain calm. I've been working on a classified project. Energy efficiency improvements for the mining equipment. Classified by whom? Walsh demanded. I don't have any record of authorized projects requiring that level of resource allocation. By Earth Engineering Command. Project designation Firebird. I'm surprised you weren't informed. It was a complete fabrication, but Maya delivered it with the confidence that came from years of creative problem-solving. The key to a good emergency lie was to make it complicated enough that verification would take time. I'm calling Earth Command immediately, Walsh said, reaching for his communications console. Good luck with that, Maya replied smoothly. The communication array has been acting up all week. Haven't you been getting the reports? Walsh paused, looking uncertain. The communication issues were real, though they had nothing to do with Maya's fictional project. Chief Harrison stepped closer to Maya's chair. There's something else. The security cameras in Sector 12 have been malfunctioning. They keep turning away from the mining equipment, as if something doesn't want to be recorded. Equipment malfunctions are common in high electromagnetic environments, Maya said. The mineral deposits in that sector play havoc with sensitive electronics. And I suppose that explains the biothermal signatures our sensors have been detecting? Maya's mind raced. How much did they actually know? What kind of signatures? Large, warm-blooded creature. Non-human. It's been present in Sector 12 on and off for the past 2 weeks. Probably one of the local wildlife. The storms have been driving animals to seek shelter in the mining tunnels. Walsh leaned forward. Engineer Chun, Kepler 442b, has no large indigenous wildlife. The largest creature on this planet is about the size of a rat. The trap was closing, and Maya realized that half-truths and misdirection weren't going to be enough. It was time for a calculated risk. Administrator Walsh, Chief Harrison, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound impossible. But I need you to listen carefully, because the future of this colony may depend on your decision. Walsh and Harrison exchanged glances. Go ahead, Walsh said warily. There is a large non-human creature in Sector 12. She's a refugee from a species called dragons, and she's been injured. I've been providing medical assistance and attempting to establish diplomatic contact. The silence that followed was deafening. Chief Harrison's hand moved instinctively toward his weapon. Dragons, Walsh repeated slowly. You're telling me you've been harboring a mythological creature. Not mythological. Very real, very intelligent, and very much in need of help. She was abandoned by her people and left to die. I couldn't stand by and let that happen. Even if such a creature existed, Harrison said, unauthorized contact with alien species is a violation of Colonial Regulation 47B. The penalty is immediate deportation to Earth for trial. And if I hadn't made contact, we would have missed the greatest opportunity in human history. What opportunity? Walsh demanded. Maya took a deep breath. This was the moment that would determine everything. Dragons possess faster-than-light travel technology that doesn't require ships. They can manipulate gravity and generate precision plasma beams that make our best weapons look like toys. The individual I'm helping has already demonstrated capabilities that could revolutionize human space exploration. You're asking us to believe that you've discovered a cache of alien super technology in a mining tunnel? I'm asking you to come with me and see for yourself. But I want your word that you'll approach peacefully. She's young, scared, and has been rejected by her own people. The last thing she needs is to be threatened by ours. Walsh looked to Harrison, who shook his head emphatically. This is insane. We should be calling in a full security team and xenobiology specialists from Earth. And what happens when Earth Command decides that dragon technology is too dangerous to be left in the hands of a frontier colony? Maya asked. What happens when they decide that Lyralii is a threat to be eliminated rather than a partner to be cultivated? Lyralii? Her name. She's not just an alien specimen, Administrator Walsh. She's a sentient being with thoughts, feelings, and dreams. And she's chosen to trust humanity despite having every reason not to. Walsh was wavering. Maya could see the conflict between his bureaucratic instincts and his ambition. The promise of revolutionary technology was too tempting to dismiss entirely. Even if what you're saying is true, Walsh said slowly, I can't authorize continued unsupervised contact with an alien entity. The liability issues alone. Then, don't authorize it. Come with me and evaluate the situation yourself. If you decide she's a threat, I'll abide by your decision. But if you agree that she represents an opportunity, then we can discuss how to proceed properly. Harrison stepped between Maya and the door. This is a trick. She's trying to lead us into a trap. A trap set by whom? An injured dragon who can barely fly. Maya stood up, meeting Harrison's gaze steadily. Chief, you've known me for 3 years. Have I ever given you reason to doubt my loyalty to this colony? No, Harrison admitted reluctantly. But harboring an alien creature, harboring a refugee, Maya corrected. There's a difference. Administrator Walsh made his decision with the sudden decisiveness of a man who realized he was facing a career-defining moment. Chief Harrison, assemble a small security team. Non-lethal weapons only. We're going to investigate Engineer Chen's claims personally. Sir, I strongly advise against. Your objection is noted and overruled. If Engineer Chen is telling the truth, this could be the most important discovery in colonial history. If she's not, we'll deal with that accordingly. 20 minutes later, Maya found herself leading a procession through the corridors of Outpost Echo 7. Administrator Walsh and Chief Harrison flanked her, followed by 3 security officers with stun weapons and recording equipment. The weight of what she was about to attempt pressed down on her shoulders. Before we go into my workshop, Maya said as they approached the reinforced doors, I need to prepare her for visitors. She's been hiding from humans for weeks, and sudden surprises might trigger defensive reactions. Defensive reactions like what? Harrison asked, his hand hovering near his weapon. Like precision plasma beams that can vaporize titanium. Walsh paled noticeably. Perhaps we should reconsider the approach. Relax. She's learned remarkable control over the past week. Just let me talk to her first. Maya activated her workshop's intercom system. Lyralii, I'm back. I have some visitors with me. Friends who want to meet you. Are you in danger? Came the dragon's concerned response, broadcast through the workshop speakers and startling everyone except Maya.
No danger.
These are the people who run the colony. They're curious about you. And if they decide I am a threat, then we'll deal with that when it happens. But I believe they're reasonable people who can recognize an opportunity when they see one. There was a pause. Then Lyralii's voice returned, steadier now. Very well. I will trust your judgment about your people. Maya keyed in the access code and the workshop doors hissed open. She led the group inside, where Lyralii waited near the main workbench. The dragon had positioned herself to appear as non-threatening as possible, but her size and the subtle power that radiated from her scales made an impressive sight. Administrator Walsh stopped dead in the doorway. Dear God! Chief Harrison's weapon was halfway out of its holster before he caught himself. The three security officers were staring in open amazement. Gentlemen, Maya said with formal courtesy, I'd like you to meet Lyralii of the Starwalker clan. Lyralii, this is Administrator Walsh, who runs our colony, and Chief Harrison, who keeps us safe. Lyralii inclined her great head gracefully. I greet you, leaders of humanity. I thank you for the sanctuary you have provided, even unknowingly. The dragon's mental voice reached all of them simultaneously, and Maya watched as the reality of the situation sank in. They were not just looking at an alien creature. They were meeting with a representative of a spacefaring civilization. You can speak, Walsh whispered. I can communicate through thought-sharing, yes. Maya has been teaching me about human social protocols. I hope I do not give offense through ignorance. No offense taken, Walsh managed. I'm just processing. Chief Harrison had recovered his composure faster than the others. You said you were abandoned by your people. Why? Because I could not control my fire as adult dragons do. I was considered defective and left to find my own path to death. Lyralii's scales shifted toward the blue end of the spectrum. But Maya has shown me that I am not defective. I am simply different. Different how? Maya stepped forward. Would you like a demonstration? Something that shows the practical applications of our collaboration. Walsh nodded mutely. Lyralii, could you show them the precision work we've been practicing? The dragon moved to Maya's workbench, where a piece of metal had been prepared with markings for a complex cutting pattern. Lyralii studied the design for a moment, then generated a thin beam of plasma that followed the marked lines with incredible precision. In less than 30 seconds, she had created an intricate piece of decorative metalwork that would have taken human tools hours to complete. The plasma temperature was controlled to exactly 2,847 degrees Celsius. Maya announced, checking her instruments. Perfect for working with this particular alloy without damaging the surrounding material. Incredible, Walsh breathed. That's just the beginning, Maya said. Lyralii, tell them about dragon space travel. As Lyralii began explaining the principles of biogravitational manipulation, Maya watched Administrator Walsh's expression change from fear to amazement to raw ambition. She had made her case. Now the real work would begin. The emergency council meeting had been called for dawn, less than 12 hours after Administrator Walsh's first encounter with Lyralii. Maya sat at one end of the conference table, feeling like she was on trial. In many ways, she was. The colony's senior staff filled the remaining chairs. Dr. Sarah Martinez from the medical team, Engineer Captain James Rodriguez from Mining Operations, Communications Officer Lisa Park, and, of course, Administrator Walsh and Chief Harrison. Each of them had been briefed on the previous day's discovery, and each had their own concerns. Before we begin, Walsh said, I want to state for the record that this information is classified at the highest levels. Nothing discussed here leaves this room without authorization. Murmurs of agreement circled the table. Now then, Engineer Chen, perhaps you could explain to the council exactly how we arrived at our current situation. Maya had spent the night preparing for this moment. 3 weeks ago, I began investigating equipment malfunctions in Sector 12. During that investigation, I discovered an injured alien refugee who had been subsisting on our mining equipment for survival. Rather than report the contact immediately, I chose to provide medical assistance and attempt communication. Why? Dr. Martinez asked. Standard protocol is immediate notification of any alien contact. Because the individual was clearly young, injured, and in distress, my assessment was that following standard protocol might result in an unnecessary tragedy. Your assessment, Chief Harrison said coldly, is not your decision to make. Under normal circumstances, I would agree. But these weren't normal circumstances. Maya pulled up a holographic display showing Lyraliai's capabilities data. The individual I encountered possesses technology that could revolutionize human space exploration and defense. Making first contact as a rescuer rather than a captor established trust that has already yielded extraordinary results. Captain Rodriguez leaned forward, studying the technical readouts. These plasma generation figures can't be accurate. You're showing energy outputs that exceed our fusion reactors. The measurements are correct. Lyraliai can generate controlled plasma at temperatures and pressures that our best equipment can barely contain. And she does it biologically with no external power source. Bioplasma generation, Dr. Martinez mused. The medical implications alone, if we could understand the mechanisms involved. There's more, Maya continued. Dragon physiology includes organs for gravitational manipulation. They achieve faster-than-light travel through bioelectric interaction with space-time itself. The room fell silent. Even Chief Harrison looked stunned. You're talking about technology that Earth's best scientists consider theoretically impossible. Communications Officer Park said slowly. Impossible for humans. Dragons have been doing it for millions of years. Administrator Walsh cleared his throat. Let's assume for a moment that everything Engineer Chun is saying is accurate. What exactly are you proposing we do? Maya had been building toward this moment all night. I propose that we establish a formal research partnership with Lyraliai. She learns human engineering principles, we learn dragon biotechnology. Both species benefit from the exchange. And Earth Command? Chief Harrison asked. When do we inform them that a frontier colony has decided to conduct independent xenological research? When we have results that justify the risk, Maya replied firmly. If we report this prematurely, Earth Command will classify Lyraliai as a strategic asset and transport her to a military research facility. She'll become a test subject instead of a partner. Maybe that would be for the best, Harrison countered. The security implications of unsupervised alien contact are outweighed by the opportunity costs of mismanaging first contact, Maya interrupted. Lyraliai's people are a spacefaring civilization with technology we desperately need. How we treat her will determine how they view humanity when they eventually make formal contact. Dr. Martinez raised her hand. I'd like to meet with this Lyraliai personally. If we're going to make medical and scientific assessments, I need direct observation. Of course, she's eager to meet more humans and learn about our society. What about the dragon's own agenda? Captain Rodriguez asked. We're talking about a member of an unknown alien species. How do we know her intentions are benign? Maya had expected this question. Because she's had numerous opportunities to harm the colony and has chosen not to take them. Her plasma generation capabilities could have easily destroyed our power systems or life support. Instead, she's been hiding and trying to survive without causing trouble. Until now, Harrison muttered. James raises a valid point, Administrator Walsh said. What are Lyraliai's long-term goals? Does she want to return to her people? Stay with us? Something else? She's expressed interest in learning human engineering and contributing to our technology development. Beyond that, I think she's still figuring out her place in the universe. Her own people rejected her, remember? Communications Officer Park looked up from her tablet. I've been running scenarios on how to handle this with Earth Command. Our best option might be to frame this as a technological development program rather than alien contact. What do you mean? Walsh asked. We report breakthroughs in plasma generation and gravitational manipulation without initially specifying the source. By the time Earth realizes we've been collaborating with a dragon, we'll have demonstrable results that justify the approach. That's deception, Chief Harrison objected. That's careful timing, Park corrected. Earth Command judges success by results, not methods. Give them revolutionary technology and they'll overlook unconventional development processes. Maya felt a surge of hope. If the communications officer was thinking strategically rather than just following regulations, they might actually pull this off. Dr. Martinez closed her tablet. I want to propose a formal research protocol. We establish a joint human-dragon research team with proper medical monitoring, safety procedures, and documentation. If we're going to do this, we do it scientifically. Agreed, Captain Rodriguez added. Any technology development should follow established engineering safety standards. Revolutionary or not, we can't afford accidents that compromise colony security. Administrator Walsh looked around the table, gauging the mood of his staff. Are we seriously considering harboring an alien refugee and conducting unauthorized xenological research? We're considering the greatest opportunity in human history, Maya said quietly, and we're considering how to pursue it responsibly. The risks are manageable, Dr. Martinez interjected. I've reviewed Engineer Chen's medical data on the dragon. There's no evidence of biological hazards or uncontrolled aggression. From a xenobiological standpoint, this appears to be a stable, intelligent individual capable of peaceful cooperation. And, from a security standpoint, Walsh looked to Chief Harrison. Harrison was quiet for a long moment. If half of what Chun is reporting is accurate, then this dragon represents either the greatest threat or the greatest asset this colony has ever encountered. I'd rather have her working with us than against us. Then we're agreed? Walsh asked. We proceed with a formal research partnership while maintaining operational security regarding Earth Command? Nods around the table confirmed the consensus. Very well. Dr. Martinez, I'm putting you in charge of establishing proper research protocols. Captain Rodriguez, you'll handle technology integration and safety systems. Officer Park, you'll manage communications security. Chief Harrison, you'll develop contingency plans in case this goes wrong. Engineer Chun, you'll continue as primary liaison with our guest. Maya felt a mixture of relief and anxiety. They had cleared the first hurdle, but the real challenges were just beginning. What about living arrangements? Dr. Martinez asked. Engineer Chen's workshop isn't suitable for long-term habitation by a creature that size. I've been thinking about that, Maya replied. Sector 15 has been abandoned since the geological survey was completed. It's isolated but has power and life support systems. With some modifications, it could be converted into a proper research facility. How long would the modifications take? Walsh asked. 2 weeks for basic setup. Another month for full research capabilities. Do it. Captain Rodriguez, assist with the facility modifications. Dr. Martinez, begin your xenobiological assessments as soon as possible. Everyone else, maintain normal operations while we sort this out. As the meeting broke up, Maya felt cautiously optimistic. They had committed to the partnership, but she knew that the real test would come when Lyralii began demonstrating the full extent of her capabilities. Humans were adaptable, but they weren't always comfortable with change. Later that morning, Maya found herself back in her workshop with Lyralii, explaining the council's decision. They agreed to the partnership? Lyralii's mental voice carried notes of disbelief and hope. They did. But it's going to be a formal arrangement now with proper facilities and multiple human team members. And they will not send me away? Not if you continue to prove that cooperation benefits both species. But, Lyralii, there's something you need to understand. Some humans will fear you, especially when they realize what you're capable of. We'll need to be patient and prove that dragons can be trusted partners. I understand. Fear is logical when facing the unknown. My people felt the same fear when they first encountered the deep void between stars. Maya was setting up new diagnostic equipment when an alarm began sounding throughout the colony. Emergency lighting bathed the workshop in red, and the intercom crackled to life. All personnel to emergency stations. We have incoming ships on long-range sensors. Unknown configuration approaching at high speed. This is not a drill. Maya and Lyralii looked at each other with the same terrible realization. The timing was too convenient to be coincidental. My people, Lyralii whispered. They have come looking for me. Or, Maya said grimly, Earth Command has decided to investigate our recent equipment anomalies. Either way, their quiet period of development had just come to an abrupt end. The next few hours would determine whether their partnership survived its first real test. The colony's observation deck buzzed with tense energy as Maya and Lyralii joined Administrator Walsh and his senior staff. Through the reinforced windows, 5 massive ships hung in space above Kepler 442b. They were unlike any human vessel, their organic curves and bioluminescent markings clearly identifying them as dragon constructs. "They're beautiful," Dr. Martinez whispered, staring at the living starships in awe. Lyralii's scales had shifted to a deep purple, a coloration Maya had learned indicated intense stress. "Those are clan vessels. My people have indeed come for me. Are we in danger?" Chief Harrison asked, his hand instinctively moving toward his weapon. "I do not know," Lyralii replied honestly. "It depends on what they have decided about my fate." Communications Officer Park looked up from her console. "We're being scanned. Some kind of bioelectric probe that's completely different from anything in our databases. They are searching for me," Lyralii confirmed. "Dragon senses can identify individual biosignatures from great distances." Administrator Walsh made a decision that would define his legacy. "Officer Park, open a communication channel. All frequencies." "Sir, we don't know their communication protocols. We have Lyralii to translate. And, if we're going to make first contact with a dragon civilization, I'd rather do it on our terms." The communication system crackled to life, and a powerful mental voice filled the observation deck. Unlike Lyralii's gentle telepathy, this presence felt ancient and imposing. "Small fire daughter, you have been found. Prepare for collection." Lyralii's response surprised everyone. Instead of the submissive acceptance Maya had expected, the young dragon's mental voice carried newfound strength. "I greet you, Elder Thraxus of the Starwalker clan. I do not require collection. I have found my path." A pause, then, the Elder Dragon's voice returned with cold authority. "You were cast out to die, young failure. Your continued existence dishonors the clan. My existence brings honor to both dragons and humans. I have learned control. I have found purpose. I will not be dismissed as a failure." Maya stepped forward, her engineer's mind working rapidly. "Lyralii, ask them to witness a demonstration. Show them what you've learned." "Is that wise?" Administrator Walsh whispered. "It's necessary. They need to see that she's not the same dragon they abandoned." Lyralii hesitated, then projected her thoughts toward the clan ships. "Elder Thraxus, I request the right of demonstration. Judge my worth by my works, not by past failures." Another pause, longer this time. "You would claim the right of demonstration? A cast-out failure. I claim it by the ancient law. A dragon may prove their worth through action, regardless of past judgment." Maya could feel the tension in the observation deck ratcheting higher. Even the humans unfamiliar with dragon culture could sense the significance of this exchange. "Very well," Elder Thraxus replied finally. "You will demonstrate your supposed worth. But know that failure will result in immediate termination." Lyralii turned to Maya, her golden eyes reflecting both fear and determination. "I need to show them precision work that no adult dragon could accomplish. Something that proves my evolution rather than my defectiveness." "I have an idea," Maya said, pulling up schematics on her tablet. "The colony's main power coupling has been fluctuating for months. The problem is microfractures in the coupling matrix that are too small for our tools to repair effectively. You want me to perform maintenance work? I want you to perform surgery, precision plasma work at the molecular level. It's something that would be impossible with traditional dragon fire." Administrator Walsh looked horrified. "You want to risk our main power system on an untested procedure? The system is already failing," Captain Rodriguez interjected. "We're looking at complete replacement within 6 months anyway. And, if this works..." Dr. Martinez was studying the schematics. "The precision required would be extraordinary. Plasma control accurate to within micrometers." "Lyralii has been practicing molecular-level work for 2 weeks," Maya said confidently. "She can do this." Lyralii squared her shoulders, or the dragon equivalent. "I will attempt it, but I will need Maya's guidance for the technical specifications. 20 minutes later, the entire senior staff crowded into the colony's main power facility. Above them, the Dragon Clan ships maintained their ominous vigil. In front of them, Lyralii studied the damaged power coupling with intense concentration. The fracture pattern is complex, she murmured, her mental voice tight with focus. Multiple stress points requiring sequential repair. Maya stood beside her, tablet in hand. Start with the primary matrix connections. Temperature 2234 degrees Celsius. Duration no more than 0.3 seconds per connection point. Understood. Lyralii extended her neck toward the coupling and generated the thinnest beam of plasma Maya had ever seen her produce. It was barely visible, a thread of superheated energy that danced across the coupling's surface with surgical precision. Power fluctuations stabilizing, Captain Rodriguez reported from the monitoring station. The primary matrix connections are showing complete structural integrity. Maya watched the display readings with growing amazement. Lyralii wasn't just repairing the damage. She was improving on the original design, strengthening weak points that human engineers had missed. Secondary matrix now, Maya instructed. Same temperature, but you'll need to work around the coolant lines. The plasma beam shifted, navigating between delicate components with impossible accuracy. Maya realized she was watching the birth of an entirely new form of engineering, a fusion of dragon biotechnology and human technical knowledge. All systems showing green, Rodriguez announced. Power output is actually higher than original specifications. Through the facility's communication system, Elder Thraxus's voice reached them. Impressive precision for one so young. But, can you demonstrate combat applications? Lyralii looked to Maya, who nodded grimly. Show them the targeting exercise we practiced. A section of the facility had been cleared for the demonstration. Maya activated a series of small drones programmed to move in random patterns while projecting holographic targets. The challenge was to hit specific targets without damaging the surrounding equipment. Lyralii studied the moving targets for a moment, then began firing precise plasma bursts. Each beam found its mark with perfect accuracy, disabling the drones without causing any collateral damage. In less than 30 seconds, all 12 drones were neutralized. Combat precision at close range, Elder Thraxus acknowledged. But what of distance work? Through the facility windows, they could see one of the clan ships deploying what appeared to be a target array in space. The targets were at extreme range, barely visible even with telescopic enhancement. They're testing long-range accuracy, Maya realized. But, Lyralii, you've never practiced at that distance.
No.
But, I understand the principles now. Lyralii moved to the facility's main window and studied the distant targets. Human engineering has taught me that distance is merely another variable to account for. The plasma beam that emerged from Lyralii was unlike anything she had generated before. Instead of the brief bursts Maya was accustomed to, this was a sustained lance of energy that reached across space to strike the distant targets with perfect precision.
Impossible, Dr. Martinez Breted.
The power requirements alone. Not impossible, Maya said with pride. Just properly engineered. Elder Thraxus's mental voice returned, and this time it carried notes of something Maya had never expected to hear from an ancient dragon. Respect. Lyralii of the Starwalker clan, you have demonstrated evolution beyond our understanding. You are no longer cast out. I am grateful for the clan's recognition, Lyralii replied formally. But I will not be returning with you. Shocked silence from the clan ships. You reject clan membership? I reject clan limitations. I have found a partnership here that allows me to grow in ways our people have never imagined. I choose to remain with the humans and continue our shared development. Maya felt a surge of emotion that caught her completely off guard. Lyralii was choosing to stay, choosing their partnership over reunion with her own people. And, if the clan forbids this association? It was Administrator Walsh who answered, his voice carrying across the communication channel with surprising authority. Then, the clan will be making an enemy of humanity. Lyralii is under our protection now, and we don't abandon our partners. Another long pause, then Elder Thraxus spoke again. The Starwalker clan recognizes the partnership between Lyralii and the humans. We will inform the High Council of this development. What does that mean? Maya asked. Lyraliai's scales brightened to their most radiant blue. It means that dragon-human cooperation is now officially recognized. Other clans will be permitted to make contact if they choose. And will they choose? After witnessing what we have accomplished together, I believe many will be very interested indeed. As the Dragon Clan ships began their departure, Maya realized that their small partnership had become something much larger. They had created the foundation for an alliance between two species, opening doors to possibilities neither could have imagined alone. 6 months later, Maya stood in the new joint research facility that had been built to accommodate the growing number of human-dragon partnerships. Kepler 442b had become the unofficial embassy between the two species, and Maya had been promoted to Director of Interspecies Engineering. Lyraliai had evolved as well, no longer the frightened refugee who had hidden in mining tunnels. She was now a respected teacher and researcher, working with dozens of human engineers to develop technologies that combined the best of both civilizations. Do you ever regret your choice? Maya asked as they watched the latest group of dragon apprentices practicing precision plasma work under human guidance. Never, Lyraliai replied without hesitation. My people cast me out because I was different. Humans embraced me because I was different. That taught me something important about the nature of progress. What's that? That evolution only happens when someone is willing to try something that has never been tried before. Maya smiled, watching human and dragon engineers working side by side on projects that would have been impossible for either species alone. I'll remember that. Good. Because tomorrow we begin work on the gravitational manipulation project. Tomorrow. After all, we have a galaxy to explore, and infinity is a very large place. As the twin suns of Kepler 442b set once again, Maya reflected on how much had changed since that stormy night when she discovered a frightened dragon in the mining tunnels. She had set out to fix a broken piece of equipment and had ended up helping to fix the relationship between two species. Sometimes the best engineering happened when you were willing to work with materials that everyone else thought were impossible to use. And sometimes the most important discoveries came from the simple act of refusing to abandon someone who needed help. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but Maya had learned that the most amazing discoveries often began with something as simple as one being willing to trust another. The future stretched ahead of them, bright with possibilities that neither human nor dragon could have achieved alone. And it all started because an engineer believed that nothing was truly broken, just waiting for the right person to figure out how to fix it.